Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. This is Ida, your local real estate in the state of Minnesota. And I am a CEO of Gojo Realty with Coldwell Banker. And I am a team lead and plus property manager in the area. And today we talk about in depth about what is home buying process. So when you buy a property, what do you do? How do you do it? What are the stuff that I want you to watch on? I want you to consider what are the stuff that we need to what fix, ask question, and all that stuff. And then I have Nick will fit in some of the stuff that we need. So please, Nick, tell us who you are, and then we can go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Ida. Yeah, my name is Nick. I am the co-founder of Custom Made Mortgages, which is a local mortgage brokerage here in the state of Minnesota. I am a mortgage loan originator. You may hear us referred to as mortgage loan officers or mortgage advisors. Basically, that just means I'm licensed to write loans in the state of Minnesota. We are local, but again, our advice pretty much can be transferred across the United States. There's different state regulations, but trying to give as much free advice as we can, and very excited to be here talking with you about the step-by-step buying process from the realtor side. So yeah, just excited to dig into it.
Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming. All of you guys, we have 43 audience on TikTok. We have 4 people in YouTube. And I really appreciate you guys for coming. And TikTok family, please tap the screen while you're listening. And also, I would like you to really have a paper and pen to write those stuff that we were talking about. But in case if you miss something, you can see that right there. My YouTube account, Gojo Realty, you can go ahead and subscribe, and you can listen up. There's like over 50 some videos in there. So while we're doing that, let's stop the screen, make it to 5,000, 10, 11, whatever. We are here for an hour and a half the most today. So let's dig in the process. So when you are thinking about to buy property, one thing that I want you to really to think of is that what is your budget? Your budget matters. So when you come to me or to Nick asking, hey, I wanted to purchase a property. Yes, you can, but what is your budget? Your budget matters to us because we are not those agents or mortgage broker that we want you to be buying your property to the max. What we wanted to do is we want you to do the actual exercise with us. What you wanted to pay, what are you paying right now for rent, and then up to how much that you'll be able to do. And then after that, they will figure it out. We all figure it out. Okay, I wanted to buy $500,000 property, but I wanted to pay $2,500. Hey, you can if you wanted to put down more money. If you don't have that, it would be tight. So today, that's the stuff that I want you to think of, because we all have our own priority. Our priority has to be, real. It's not like we're just dreaming about it. The dream, we all dream, but that priority has to be done. So first thing first, what we do is you will get a pre-approval. Pre-approval, not a pre-qualify. Pre-approval. You get a pre-approval from a broker or a bank. You need, 2 months of your paycheck stuff, your bank statement. They need your W-2s, and they have a lot of stuff that they will ask you. It goes case by case. Okay. Once Nick approve you, or your bank, whomever that you approve to, you guys are all in a different state. Good morning, everyone. Please stop the screen. Okay. Thank you. And then after that, you get approved. Then Nick will tell me, hey, Ida, Thomas got approved for $450,000, but he does not want it to go, a certain amount. Then we meet with the buyer and we talk about detail about how they're going to work with me, how we're going to do the process. So working with me or with agent, the first thing is we sit and conversate about our agent agreement. Our agent agreement is, I think I saw Peter. Okay. Our agent agreement, it defined who we are and how our process goes, how long you're going to be signing the contract with me, and what is the percentage of commission that you are going to be paying me in case if the seller is not paying. And also in there is people that works with our company, affiliate business. Those people are defined in that paperwork. So I'm talking about only the Minnesota agent agreement. Okay. So, and with that, there is a paper that shows about inspection. We don't want you to pass the inspection. We want you to do an inspection, especially you are a first-time home buyer. I really recommend you to do inspection. Mm-hmm. So,
real quick before you get too far, can you just quick touch on the importance of the agent agreement and why they need to sign it and how it protects them? Because it's more of a new development, but I think a lot of people might not even understand why they're signing it or what they're signing.
Perfect. Yeah. So the reason that agent agreement that you're signing, that is the fiduciary responsibility of me giving it to you. Or when I show you those properties, I will give you the detail of the information about that property. So that means I am what? I'm not a lawyer, but I am a lawyer of your present, your process. I am going to be holding responsible, letting you know what's going on. I will tell you, no, if this is something that I would not do if I am a buyer like you. So I have my responsibility for me to what? To cover you in any ways. So when I say that, let's say you signed that contract with me and we go to places, I have seen stuff. By law, I have to disclose that with you. And in addition, if you don't sign that contract as of last year, August 17, there is a protocol that in Minnesota, if you don't sign an actual like a one showing, 2-time showing agreement or exclusive agreement, we won't be able to show you those properties. What that is, that it will protect for the buyer not to deal with a bunch of agents that they will get too crazy kind of information. One. Second, it will protect us as well, that we are not going to give it to you some information that you really don't need. The other part that I always say that if you go to court, will you go to the court by yourself or do you take a lawyer with you? So that is something that I always say to my buyers, especially that when you go to the new construction area, not having someone to present you or to be there for you and work behalf of you and protect you with all this law and regulation, you just dipping yourself in that situation. Did I answer all the question?
Yeah, no, and it's a very good point, and I think from we like to get into the technical side of things, but from our borrower side, I think one of the best things about the agent agreement is if you were to go into an open house per se, it was the first thing the listing agent is going to ask you. Are you already represented with an agent? And if you say yes, what do they do? They turn and they walk away because you know what I mean. Like they just want more possibilities to do the selling and the buying side of the business. Our goal for everyone is to interview the real estate agent that you're going to work with, ask them questions, find someone you're comfortable with. This person is going to work on my behalf. Okay, I'm going to work for Ida. She is going to fight for me. Once you sign that agreement with Ida, all the other agents are going to leave you alone. You say, oh, I already signed on with an agent. Okay, you don't have to worry about that part of the process anymore. And I think that's one huge benefit of that agent agreement as well, is you get to just work with your person that you chose, that you interviewed, that you know is going to fight for you. And I think that takes away from the competition and agents trying to steal clients from each other as well, which ultimately helps the buyer. So yeah, let's keep on rolling with our process.
Perfect. Good morning, Peter.
Unmute myself. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. You got your turquoise today. I was expecting all black, like Mr. Police Officer.
It's a good morning. So
perfect.
You guys are doing great. So I'm just listening.
Okay. Yeah. If you wanted to jump in, you are welcome to do that. Do you want to introduce yourself? Then it would be easy.
Peter Jerf. Work with Nick Custom Made Mortgages, work with Ida a lot. We only are licensed in the state of Minnesota. And I always like to remind people this is all for education purposes. These are not quotes or anything like that. So, yeah, but that's my little disclaimer.
Thank you. That's why I disclaim myself. I'm not a lawyer. That's what they tell us. So, in addition, what Nick said, a not process paperwork that you sign in that agreement with the agent, it will tell you right there, in case, let's say I showed you 40 houses and then you decide not to work with me and you wanted to hire some other agent, you are welcome to do that anytime. Okay. But and not 40 property that I showed you, you cannot go and buy those property with another agent. So with 180 days, that means 6 months. In that 6 months, you cannot purchase that property. I have experience on that. I have my buyer have done that, and they end up paying me at the end of the transaction. And I know which property that I showed to my buyers, and I have done that. Okay. First time home buyer tips. Okay, perfect. So all the stuff that we're talking today, because we have heard so many stories, especially since I started teaching TikTok. I get called every Monday and Tuesday. That's the only 2 days that I take calls from TikTok. And I lost this, I lost that. So that is the processing, okay? That's it. You sign an agreement. That's what you're signing. We are protecting you as much as we know. What we know, we will tell you. As an agent, I cannot be an inspector. I am not an inspector to start with. I am someone who looking at property, telling you any kind of major issue that I see. And if you purchase property with me, you know me, I go through with my flashlight and check everything. If I see any black substance or like mold looking stuff, I'll tell you, if I smell gas, I usually kick out my client. I showed property last week, and as soon as I walked in the laundry room, I smell gas. The first thing that I told my buyers, I'm like, they have like 4 people coming and their kids. I'm like, we were like 9 of us in that house. It was a choo-choo train. I got out of everyone from there, and I called the agent and to let whomever the gas company to come and check. And for sure, the furnace was leaking gas, or the water heater, something. I think it's the furnace. And yeah, so they have to take the property off market. And so these are the stuff that I have an OCD of smell. I have animal in my house. I don't want my house to smell like animal. So because of that, I tell, okay, this property has dog, and that's where the smell. And I tell them those things. So anything that I know, I explain. Okay. So we're done with the agent agreement, right?
Yes, and one thing on just a personal note, since I've looked at a couple houses with you, Ida, I can say with absolute certainty that Ida, while she is not an inspector and not licensed as one, she has purchased many homes herself, and she walks through for her clients like she were buying the home. So she is checking the dates on, when was the water heater put in? When was the furnace put in? How new is the roof? She is checking every little thing because she knows that this is going to be someone's home. And she treats it like it was going to be her home, because that's the type of approach she has, and the way that she fights for her clients. So while she's not an inspector, she does a pretty damn good job at acting like one, because she checks every little thing out. And I don't know if you should buy this home. You're going to need to replace the air conditioner in a couple of years. It's absolutely an unbelievable experience, and part of the reason that we like Ida so much.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate it. I tried my best. I'll try to take the emotion out of my business sometimes, but I am always trying to protect, especially the new home buyers, because there is an ability to do a lot. And I want my people to be what? I want them to be take care of and know what they're going into, so there won't be no surprise. So I usually write detail, hey, there is this issue, make sure that to get a home warranty, things that can happen, and blah blah blah. So that is something that I try as much as I can. So with that said, then we finish that. Then the next step is you will tell me, Ida, look for property by zip code. Look some property for me by school district, by county, by, city. I can put all that and set it up for you. And any agent can do that for you if they know what they're doing. Okay. So I do that. I show them what the property is in there, the area that they're looking with their price point. If they wanted to push the price up than what Nick and Peter told me, I will do that, and I will call and verify that, hey, the buyer said they have enough money to put down, and instead of the 400, they wanted to go to 450. Are we safe? If they said yes, we're going to go. Otherwise, I want them to call and verify that, because I am not a loan officer. I am not going to check their, checking and saving account, their 401k. Nope. I don't like touching people's social security number, and I'm scared of those things. So once they approve it, we go on. And then one thing that I started the past 2 years, whenever they like property, I send it to them, the lenders, Peter or Nick or the other lender that I work with. What I do is I send those address for them to look at it. When they're calculating it, are they on their budget? If they're planning to pay $3,000 on their mortgage, sometimes, as you know, the property tax is higher, or they might have a homeowner association attached with it. So before I waste my time, because I don't want to spend gas and driving like an hour, then the buyer is not going to be, qualified to buy. And also, because you're a buyer, if you love that property, you attach with that property, I don't want to break your heart because you are not qualified to purchase it. So I'm saving your emotion, and I don't want to have that bad experience. And I want to, and also not spend our time. Okay. Then we do that. We go out looking houses. I love looking houses, and I usually capture some stuff. And I went and looked at some property the other day. It has those pull down iron board. I have not seen those things for years. And I'm going to put it actually on TikTok, like the vintage stuff. Phone, like wall phone, you don't see them. So those kind of stuff that I just love when I go out and looking at properties. So then we go out looking properties, and then let's say we like something. I send out to my lenders, hey, I would like to send me a pre-approval, for this property. Then usually my people, these two guys, what they do, they calculate what it would be, all the expenses as of today with the interest rate. They will send them the monthly payment, how much it will be. And I am so proud of you guys. Whomever is tapping my screen, I really appreciate you. And let's keep going, okay? So after that happened, I get the pre-approval and I will submit a purchase agreement, whatever the offer that we were planning to write. On that purchase agreement, I've been talking about contingency, 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 contingency. There is a contingency. Contingency is what it will protect you by writing that offer. One of the contingency is your inspection period time. So your inspection period time, you should know whenever your agent writes an inspection period, ask them before you sign, what is my inspection period time? Is it 7 days? It is 5 days? It is 2 days? Sometimes if we have a multiple offer, we usually put like 3 or 5 days. So that inspection period time is that 5 days that you have. We have to find an inspector after the offer got accepted, okay? We have to find an inspector, do the inspection, write what you wanted to get fixed, and then send it to the listing agent, get the listing agent answer about that work within that 5 days. Okay? So if you are not doing it in that 5 days, and if you pass it, the seller is going to be on the driver's seat. Hi, Stephanie. So that is the issue that we've been having. That means you are not going to get your earnest money. None. Because the seller can say that, hey, you did not present yourself with the timely manner. We're not going to give it to you, your earnest money, because we're not going to fix the property too. So they have a right to say that. So your inspection period time, it matters. So that contingency time, you have to do your due diligence with your agent, those things. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just going to say real quick, since, we're trying to gear this towards first-time home buyers who may know nothing about the process, will you just give us 30 seconds to a minute on what earnest money is?
Yes. So earnest money is that you putting down when you purchase that property, that you are serious to purchase that property, and plus that it will show you that for the seller, you are ready to put your skin in the game. And
Yeah.
that money, usually I've been hearing, it's so funny that you said that. One lady called me yesterday. She's buying a property in Ohio. Her agent told her that she have to put $5,000 for an earnest money, but she said that why everybody putting $1,000. I'm like, that was 15 years ago, not now. So the earnest money is you put 1.5 to 2% that you show that you are interested and serious to purchase that property. If you are not putting any money or any, you cannot even put an offer without not putting in earnest money.
Mm-hmm. So on the offer and the purchase agreement that you submit, you'll put the amount of earnest money, usually 1 to 2% of the purchase price, and then they have to send that money to the seller's escrow account, their title agent's escrow account. How quickly do they have to send that from submitting the offer?
You're so good. So because you go through those craziness. So in Minnesota, you have to do it in 2 business days. 2 business days. That means in 48 hours, that money has to go to the listing agent trust fund account. So everything has to have that. Otherwise, you're going to get penalized. Not the agent. You will get penalized because you signed that agreement and you said, I'm going to do this. Okay. Hi, Tutu. My cousin is here too today. It's interesting. I love to see you guys. So, so with that said, that matters a lot for, and then those money that you're putting down, if the process go well, it can go to your down payment. You can get a credit from your down payment or closing costs. If it is $5,000 that you put in, you have to pay, let's say $10,000 in your closing cost. They will give you a credit for a $5,000. So you gonna come to the closing bringing only $5,000. Okay.
Yeah, I see a question in the chat here. Do I have to say financial and appraisal contingency, yes or no? Yes, you absolutely want to put financial and appraisal contingencies. That protects you throughout this process. If anything comes up, you won't be out your earnest money. You won't be taken to real estate court and sued if the transaction falls through. Absolutely, 100% yes.
Yes. Yep. That's what I was going. I'm going step by step. Yes. You
Perfect.
head of my yes. Those are the contingency. You have your inspection contingency. You have your financial contingency. Financial contingency means that if you lose your job and something happen, you end up using your closing costs. There is emergency can come. That kind of stuff, yes, there's a contingency, but the loan officer has to advise you with those kind of stuff. You have to figure it out. Those things, those are the ones that who will tell you, and those are the ones that who's gonna be declining you for those purposes. So that's one. Financing, and then appraisal. Yes, appraisal. Contingency, yes. Another contingency that a lot of you guys don't understand it. I'm going to give you a scenario. I am selling my house. Okay. And then Nick is buying my property, and I am buying Peter's property. Okay. So when Nick purchasing my property, we have to put that saying that, hey, Nick is buying the Ida's property, but Ida has to sell her property to buy Peter's property. So if Peter, at the end of the day, let's say Nick is ready to purchase my property, but Peter lost his job and he cannot sell his property. So because of that, I cannot sell my property to Nick because I'm going to be homeless. Everybody will have their own and not me. It's not going to work. So on the purchase agreement, we write that. So Nick is gambling. You never know. Am I going to sell it and am I not? It depends on Peter. If Peter is buying another property and that sometimes it's a choo-choo train, by the way, you guys. Somebody will buy a property, somebody will sell the property, that seller will buy another property, and then they will have like 6, 7 train is going. So at that time, if I cannot sell my property, Nick will get his earnest money, but he will lose his inspection money and also his appraisal money if that's something that it happens until that at that time. But you can sometimes the seller will say, hey, me as a seller, I can say, you know what, it's okay if I sell my property, if Nick buying it, it's not going to be contingency upon me selling my property, that he's, me buying a property, that I'm going to sell my property. But I can say as a seller, it's okay if I don't sell it, if I don't buy this property, I can exit and stay with somebody else, or I can stay in the hotel, or I will rent, I can find something. So that can be another stuff that we have to really watch on. That is another contingency that we usually don't talk about. And, it doesn't come out that much, but that's something that I always wanted people to know. There is a contingency period and have that time. And then another part that you might lose your earnest money. So I wanted to talk about that, and then we can go other, because we're talking earnest money. So earnest money, usually on your purchase agreement, when we write, we put the lender to write you a statement that where you at in your file. And that means where you at, like it might be 10 days before your closing, where you at, are you clear to close, and this and that. So if your lender, that's what I always tell you, interview your lenders, interview who you're going to be working with. And if your lender has a full-time job, but he's doing it part-time, side gig, am I going to forget that deadline? And if your lender did not send them the financial statement saying that, hey, Ida is doing good, she has some condition that we need to clear for us to close, and this blah, 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 blah. I don't know what they sent. They sent some stuff. And if they do it an actual, the day before, the day of, then you're not going to lose that earnest money because your lender did their due diligence. Okay. The only time that you lose your money, if they don't respond, if they don't send out that letter. To be honest, Peter and Nick, they usually do it a day before or a day of before midday, because we don't want it to wait until midnight. Okay. And because of that, I have never had any issue with my earnest money. And I'm telling you, I'm blessed on that. And second, our inspection contingency, this contingency, that contingency, it needs to be intact. The time that you lose your earnest money, if your lender did not respond or send out that email, messed. Second, if you don't do your own due diligence with your agent about your inspection, okay, and then you pass the time, they might not gonna do the work, and also they're not gonna return back your earnest money. The other one that I have seen in my real estate business, You put an offer in this property, you're going moving forward, and then you wanted to cancel your purchase agreement. Thank you, Huey. Your purchase agreement. And you decided to cancel that purchase agreement. One, you're not going to get your earnest money. Second, the seller have a right to take you to the court for more money because they are holding that property for you to purchase it. You decided that not to purchase it. You got a cold feet in the middle of the transaction. The seller can go after you. And I have seen a lot of lawsuits like that. So because of that, that's why all this time sensitive stuff on your purchase agreement, one, to protect you. But if you're not protecting yourself and knowing what's going on, then you going to be running around to go to the court. I think, Peter, you had that issue, kind of issue last year, right? Like 2-3 days before the closing, one of you buyer wanted to cancel.
Yep. So it sounds like the agent they were working with, I didn't know them very well. And so it sounds like they rushed through the process. They were just trying to get a house. They might not have fully thought it through for what they were trying to do. And then about a week and a half before closing, they started having second thoughts. And then, but then they still didn't say anything. And then it was maybe less than a week before closing. And then they're like, well, actually, we don't want to live here because we have young kids and there's a busy road, things like that. So at that point, they called me like, hey, what do we have to do to get out of this? And I'm like, you got to talk to your realtor, but just so you know, like at this point, the loan was already, I think, fully approved, everything else. We'd already let everybody know the loan was approved. So there's no reason not to close unless they just didn't want to. And that's where it came up. And I think I called you too, Ida. I'm like, hey, isn't this like ripe for a lawsuit? Yeah. And you were like, yep, that's scary. So the buyers talked to the agent because, again, I kind of help with that stuff, but it's really more on the real estate agent. We don't want to step on their toes. So I was like, you got to talk to your agent, figure this out, talk to the sellers. I don't know if he ever actually talked to the seller's agent about it, but whatever the agent said is he's like, no, I think this is going to blow up in our face and we could get sued and this is going to be really bad. And so at that point they were like, all right, well, I guess we just got to buy the house. So, and they're planning to move, but they're kind of in this situation where they don't want to just try to sell the house right away because usually you'll lose money if you buy and sell even in year or two, just because of realtor fees and things like that. And not just realtor fees, but total fees. You got to pay the realtor, title company, government fees, all those different type of things come into play. So, so that's kind of the issue they ran into. But yeah, they 100% were about to pull out, and that whole lawsuit thing came up. And yeah, I told them, like, I would not want to get involved in this. And they're like, well, can't you, maybe say that we got denied? And I'm like, no, that we cannot do that. That's very illegal. We could probably even end up in jail for that. So, nope, like at this point, it is what it is, and you guys can figure it out. But if you pull out, there could be repercussions. So again, it's a good idea, both on the lending side and the realtor side. I know we're talking more about the realtor today, but lenders do the same thing as realtors. They tell you everything you want to hear up front. And then at the end of the process, some of them will try to all of a sudden change things on you. So my big thing when I deal with salespeople in my personal life, anybody that's super like overly nice and always has an answer for everything, but it doesn't really make sense. And I'm like, wait a second, what did they really say there? And they're not being straightforward with me. I'm not going to work with that person. So, and that's even if I'm buying something cheap, let alone like a house or something. So that's my advice is, like Nick and Ida both said, interview, ask real questions. Don't just get swept up, because if they do business like that, they will know how to set the environment to make everything seem great and happy, but try to avoid actually talking to you about any details. And, you know, on the loan officer side, hold on, I'll be right back.
Got a little one.
Ida, did you see the comment we had? Is a question for you.
Yes, I have seen that. Peace, salam. So I usually have my buyer to sign a year agreement. A lot of people sign 6-month agreement. But if you do less than that, it's going to be critical for you. Why? Because like I said, the 180 days gap, you might gonna end up dealing with that agent. Let's say you like some property, you wanted to buy it, but you don't want it to deal with me, and you wanted to hire Nick. And but you cannot buy that property with Nick. So, and then plus the relationship matters. So it does not matter how long you sign that contract. If you are not getting a loan, or that agent does not give you what you want and what you need in this process, you can exit anytime. I'm gonna underline it. You can exit anytime. If you guys are here, a lot of Ethiopians are here, I know. Yulunta, it does not gonna work. You are gonna be in this process. You're buying a huge investment. You are not gonna be playing with the Yulunta. Yulunta means I'm gonna see this person somewhere in this social life. How I'm gonna hide? I don't care. I don't care. For me, I let go a lot of buyers, a lot of listing. If I don't like, if you're trying to put me beneath you, because I am a real estate agent and I'm a degree holder, and I don't care, I will tell you, no, we are not going to be working together. I will refer you another agent if you want to, but no. So I have a right to fire my buyers and my sellers. The same thing as you can fire me any time of the day. I'm telling you this thing because Ida, I am an open book. I don't sugarcoat anything. You see me right here, this is how you get. Nick knows me. I love my job. I adore my job. I don't love my job more than I do love myself, because why? I don't do some crazy stuff and I don't want anything to take my sleep away. I love me. Because of that, I wanted to sleep at least 8 hours a day. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything or tell you, oh, I can do this and I can do that. There was a time that me and Peter were just like, oh, look at this, the gray hair. It's you guys. Seriously, I have never got a gray hair until I turned 48. I end up getting a gray hair now, mind you. So first time home buyers, I love you guys. Peter, he is local in Minnesota. But if you are in a different state, we will try to hook you up with someone. And I would like you guys to interview lenders and agents. If you're looking for an agent, even though that I work in Minnesota, I can help you to find some and help you even to interview them, and for you to feel that it is an absolute good agent. But I don't know, when they go on the street, I don't know how they're gonna act. And
yeah, and if you are looking for an agent to be referred to or a mortgage company, definitely shoot Ida a DM. And even if it's just we tell you interview your agents, and you're sitting there saying, Nick, I don't know what questions to ask them. Shoot us a DM. We have a list of questions. We'll email to you. This is what you can ask a mortgage loan originator. This is what you can ask a real estate agent. And then if that makes the process easier for you, we're happy to share that with you. We are in the business of helping people. That's what we're here for. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. So those are the process. Then after you finish your inspection, then you literally are done with your agent. So I break it down 4 parts: offer, got accepted, inspection. Once you're done, then you go back to your lender. So the lender does process your paperwork. I send them your agent, your purchase agreement, and all that. They get all those package already ahead of time before you do your inspection. So you guys already start processing your stuff. And then they order appraisal. And after that appraisal is back, if the property price that what we offer, if it is lower, then I have to go back and negotiate that price for you. And any agent should do that. Sometimes the seller does not want it to negotiate, want you to buy it. Everybody wants, but you don't want it to buy a property underwater, 10,000, 15,000 less. And so sometimes we come in the middle. Let's say if it is $10,000, if you're willing to pay 5,000, and then the seller will lose 5,000. And instead of you buying $400,000 property, you buy $395. Okay, so we all have to put our skin in the game. We cannot be like gung ho and say nope, I'm not gonna do that. So if you're not gonna do that, how are we gonna negotiate? And you're gonna make my negotiating harder. But we'll do as much as we can. Me and Peter, we had a contract a couple of months ago. I think we talked about it last week. We work on it. She's willing to put in some, and the seller willing to credit some, and then we got in the middle. So once that appraisal done, then still gonna be with working with the lender. They do the verification, blah, 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 blah. And then they will come up and say, hey, we clear to close. That's why I did my dance the other day, clear to close dance. And that is good. One, my buyer's going to get their key. They're going to buy their house. They got their investments done and whatever. So for me, hey, it's a payday. A couple of days, I'm going to get paid. Okay. So I always say this thing, real estate agents, we are underpaid. Just wanted to give you a heads up. So as an agent, you guys make us work so hard, and then you just drop us and go. So the commitment that what the law created for us last year, August 17, because buyers work with 7-8 agents and they're going to pick whomever that they want. And it's not fair. Like, means that you work 40 hours and then I'm splitting your 20 hours paycheck. I don't think that's fair. So in order for you not to do that, you yourself, as whatever religion that you are believing, I don't think anyone, you want that person to do that to you. So it says that whatever you want, what do they say? Don't do stuff.
Like the golden rule.
Yes.
Do unto others as you want them to do unto you.
Yes.
Then there's the platinum rule too, which is treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
So very similar but different.
Yep. So that is the golden rule that we have to always have to go by, and be who you are. Be honest. The honesty matters, especially with lenders. You lie to them. They are in the FBI or the CIA of mortgage. They will find anything and everything that you hide. So don't hide, be open. So one thing that I want you to know this, I don't want it to know as a real estate agent, your financial issue or what you have. And the lenders would not disclose that to a real estate agent unless there is something going on that you cannot purchase that property. They don't. And also, they deal with you, you're confidential, it is done with them. Anything that you do with me, you're confidential as an agent. My responsibility for you, working for you as an agent, my fiduciary responsibility, one, protecting you. Second, anything that you talk to me about, whatever, it can be your wife, it can be your husband, it can be your boyfriend, it can be your fiance, whatever that is, or your child, it is confidential. And it has to be confidential. I have a translation company. Anything that I deal with the special need kids in Minnesota, even if I see them from a distance, the law is telling me that do not say hello to them until they say hello to you. Because of that, I have that background. So your agent, when you hire them, that's the stuff that you have to ask them. Another thing, Peter and Nick knows me. When I work with partners, husband and wife, I create a group text. Because the reason being is that if the wife wants something, if the seller, if the husband does not want that, I want that to be disclosed because I'm tired of being a marriage counselor. I create those things in order for me to deal with them. And then the transaction goes smooth. And I don't need to have more gray hair because it is stressful. Wife wants the kitchen to be with the island, and husband, he wants the big backyard. How I'm gonna do that with the money that I'm getting? So we have to minimize, we need to know what's going on, and we have to work as a team. This is a team effort. I am a real estate agent, I have the buyer, I have the lenders, I have an inspector, I have the appraisal. We all are working one and then put our buyers in a fantastic position. I think I talked too much. Oh,
That was good info. I was just gonna say, it looks like there's a couple questions. Sorry, I had to run. I had something happen, but
it's okay.
I saw. It looks like Hug Design asked a couple questions where we're located. So we are licensed in the state of Minnesota. That's where we're located. We can do some like investment type loans outside of Minnesota, but it's a very specific product. Otherwise, you need to find a lender who's licensed in your state. And then I did see asked another question farther down that said, may my interest rate change when finalized from the first pre-approval? Yes. So most lenders, standard and loan officers are not going to lock your loan until you at least find the house, just because it could take a week to find the house that you want. It could take a couple months. And so if we lock it, lock's always good for a certain number of days. Standard is about a 30-day lock. If you do longer than that, usually the rates start getting a little bit worse. You can do like a 180-day lock. The rate is going to be significantly worse than it is today because the lenders you're predicting the future. So the lenders have to protect themselves because they don't know if the rates are going to go up or down, so that you're going to get a worse rate. So usually, and the truth of the matter is in the industry, lenders like to have you lock early because it's easier for them. And it just creates, it kind of answers that question and it's over. So, but usually they'll have you wait till you get the house, and depending on the lender, usually they'll wait till the inspection is done to make sure there's no major issues that come up. As long as that looks good, they'll lock it at that. They'll tell you to lock it at that point. We try to be very objective with our clients. So we always tell you, if you want to take it where it is today, we'll lock it where it is today. And this is what you're getting. These are the terms. This is the payment. This is if you're buying down the rate or not. And let me just go off on a side tangent. Always look at Section A of your loan estimate, where it says discount points or anything like that. Or if they don't have discount points, but they have a bunch of other fees in there. And then also see if there's like a lender credit anywhere. And the lender will point out to you if you get a lender credit. But a lot of times, if you're buying down the rate, and this just happened again with a client we have right now, they send us, oh, well, this other lender is giving us this way better rate, and they're paying like almost $2,500 for the rate. So they didn't know that. I'm like, did they tell you? Nope, they never told us. He never told me anything about this. So the client wasn't very happy. that kind of thing. But yes, they'll put it on the paperwork, won't mention it to you. So always look for buy down points, rate fees. Section A, if you're comparing lender to lender, look at Section A fees. That's the main lender fees. The rest of it, some lenders will manipulate it, like the title fees and other things to make it look less. But the truth is, the title fees are not influenced by the lender. The government taxes are not influenced by the lender. The escrow for your property tax insurance is not affected by the lender. It's going to be the same wherever you go. So always look at that Section A. And some of the section, and it might be a little bit of Section B too, but Section A is the main thing. But getting back to the lock thing, we always tell clients, if you want to lock today, you're at, this rate with no points. We could buy down. Here's what it would cost to buy down. Or if you want, if your closing's 30 days away, we can wait till a week and a half away from closing. Some things will depend on that though. Like if you're barely qualifying, we'll probably tell you got to lock now, because if the rates get worse, you might not qualify for the loan anymore. Now you're going to get denied. So in those situations, a lender might say, we really need to lock now because you don't have that ability to kind of play with that. But if your ratios are good and everything looks good, then the lender, you can wait and see if it goes up or down. But I always tell people it's a gamble, because even, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. The rates could, things could change. Even personally, I thought the rates were going to get a little bit better today. The government data is not coming out, but ADP, who reports on job information, they released their report today, and it was a lot better for the economy, which means it's worse for interest rates, because jobs is the one big thing that the Federal Reserve is looking at, and from an economic standpoint, they're looking at. So like today, the rates got a little bit worse. I read about this yesterday, heard from the top experts in the industry, everything, but everybody's still wrong. The rates got worse today. So even if your loan officer is very knowledgeable and trying, just remember, we don't control this. We can't just press a button and change the rate. I've had people ask me that. Oh, can't you just drop it? It doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. So you can lock it at the beginning. You know exactly what you're getting, or you can wait throughout the process, but that's going to be a gamble. And your loan officer does not control that. They should keep you informed about it, but again, we can't control that. That's way bigger than any one person or even any one lender. It is influenced by what's going on in the economy. So, yeah. And then let me see. Yeah, you're welcome. And I thought there was, never mind. I missed it. I thought there was another question, but that was something else. So then I don't know if you had any other thoughts on that, Nick, to add, but.
No.
Perfect.
Okay.
He said no. Okay. So the last one, I want everyone to have your ear open. Okay. You have to do walkthrough. Walkthrough means, let's say you ask the seller one. Okay. So I want you to write a note, or you're going to find me right there with the Gojo Realty and my YouTube too. This thing is already recorded. On your, when you talk to your agent, when they write an inspection for you, sorry, Faisal is calling. You'd be like, I got my house, what I'm going to do? But, so when when they write you an inspection contingency for you to ask the seller to fix stuff for you, make sure that if they're gonna do a company to do, let's say, furnace tune-up, or they have to do some major stuff, make sure that your agent to ask receipt, invoice. Okay, then you know that stuff is already done by professional. And then you can ask 5 days before the closing, or I do 10 days before the closing, because I'm a mini agent. I protect my buyer, because the person that we purchased a property yesterday, and I put it on TikTok. You guys can go and say congratulations to my buyer. That would be nice. I posted for his stuff. We wrote like 6 items, but I asked the agent to provide me the receipt and everything that to let me know 10 days before the closing it is done. If they sign and agreed, hey, I am all set, right? So a lot of agents, they don't do that. When they go and do walkthrough with the sheet of paper that they ask the seller to fix, some of the stuff is not fixed. So I don't want you to not bypass your walkthrough before your closing. You have to go walk through the property. One, when they move, if they damage anything, if the wall is damaged, if the stuff is broke, if the window broke, if there is a water leakage in the basement, you just never know. So you have to do a walkthrough. There is no choice. Okay? So do your walkthrough and then look at the item that you asked to get fixed. Okay? That is one. And if they are not, those items not fixed, you don't have to close that property. That's how I roll. I don't let I did a walkthrough the other day with my buyer, the one that we sold, and I put a post on my social media. When we walked in, there's still a bunch of stuff we're sitting. And there was a bunch of stuff who was not cleaning. The shed, inside the shed, outside was not cleaning. The garage was not cleaned. Hey, I request that needs to be clean. I want my buyer to walk in a clean property. I even ask an amendment for shampooing the carpet. You can ask those questions. It's all up to say yes or no. You ask and you get it, but don't ask too much on your inspection stuff that you're putting. I put 6, not more than that. So don't send them a laundry list. They're not going to be fixing it. They will tell you, they will pick the cheapest item to pick. And that's it. So then yesterday morning, the agent's supposed to send me a video or a picture if those areas are cleaned. When I woke up yesterday morning at 7:30, that thing has not been done. Nobody sent me any information. So because of that, I texted him, hey, we're going to extend our closing or send me the stuff that you promised me. It is already in my text. And the guy, I swear to you guys, he said, oh, they already moved out and everything looks clean. And I'm not going to be driving 45 minutes to the area. So I told him that I need to get some information. So he sent me within might be 30, 45 minutes. He sent me that information. Then I send it to the buyer and I'm like, hey, are you excited to close? These are the evidence that we asked yesterday. We got it. And if you're walking in the property, don't do that. The property that I purchased right now, I'm living in, there was some area that has a hole because there was some leakage. They fixed, but they did not fix the wall. That's part of my stuff that needs to be done. It was not done, so I extended it for another week. And the seller was like going off the hook. I don't care. I'm like, okay, I'm not available for 10 days. So I extended it. They fixed it properly. I came and did the walkthrough. I was not satisfied the way it was done, but at least it was done. And I closed the deal. So you have a right to do those things. And I have heard so many buyers saying that, hey, when we do the walkthrough, things was not done, it was not this, and it was not that. You have to ask those things, and the seller has to agree. You cannot assume that they're going to do it. Some sellers, they would not even vacuum their property. They don't even clean their property. They just leave it. So you have to ask those things. And if you feel like there is a smell, you can ask the seller to shampoo their carpet. If they said, they will say yes. If they don't want it to do it, they will tell you, no, I'm not going to do that. So when you walk in, if the property was not the way you expected, some seller will change their washer and dryer because they're moving in a new property. They get you a cheap one. So you should take pictures, those property, those items, while what? When you're doing an inspection. Do not miss inspection. I heard that a couple of days ago, one of the buyer in Texas, the agent told her that she doesn't need to go to the inspection. Really? Why not? You need to know what it needs to be fixed. You have to go to a walkthrough. You have to go to your inspection, meet the inspector, see what's going on in that property. So that is your time to cancel that purchase agreement if you don't want it. If there is major issue on the property, you have a right to get out and get your earnest money and move on with another property. You're going to lose your earnest money. It's fine. I prefer paying $300-400 investing on the inspection than sitting on $400,000. So I'll stop in here. If you guys have a question, you guys are welcome to do that.
Yeah, and I did have one note on the final walkthrough, and Heidi, you're absolutely correct. It's very important to attend. You go there, you make sure, hey, did everything get taken care of that we asked for in the inspection period? We obviously renegotiated, yada yada. The only thing I will say is it's not a license to be crazy. Don't be crazy, right? So we don't go to the final walkthrough and start bringing up things that we never talked about. Oh, I'm not buying this house if you don't change the light bulbs. No, it's not time for that, right? And you hear crazy stories of people that have done it. So just make sure, hey, we're gonna go and double check, make sure they didn't switch out a laundry machine, make sure that they fixed what we had to be fixed. But we're not gonna go there and say, oh, I'm not signing if they don't repaint this wall or whatever else. If we didn't talk about it before, it's not the time to bring it up either. So just trying to hedge it a little bit and say, hey, this isn't the time to bring up new crazy things either.
Yep. That's it. That is exactly what it needs to be done. And always when you talk to your agent, I don't care what language that you're speaking, I need you to communicate writing. I do email, text, picture, you name it, I do that. One, I'm covering myself for a lawsuit. Also, I am protecting my buyers. If I am a listing agent and I'm selling the property, I do the same thing. I am protecting my sellers. So my fiduciary responsibility is not for your buyers or it is not for your sellers. My fiduciary responsibility that I signed that contract with is whoever that I'm working with. So I want you to think that anytime there's an inspection report, talk to your inspector saying, hey, do you think it's the right house for me? What do you think? What are the major stuff that you see that I should ask? And sometimes if they're really good inspectors, they will tell you how much those items might gonna cost. The part might be from $500 to $700. Then you can take $700 for you. So when your agent negotiate, go to with the higher price, let the seller to go down. At least you might gonna get it, break even. So that's it. Then we finished the walkthrough, party started. We're gonna go do our paperwork and we celebrate and we're done. When you move in your property, I need you to change the key. Your lock your door key, it needs to be changed. You never know who has the key for that property. You don't want somebody, when you get up in the morning, somebody's like lounging with their beer sitting on your sofa. You don't want that. It might be Uncle Tom does not know that that property sold. He think like Bob is still owning it. He has the key. He might gonna be walking and just laying down on your sofa. You'd be like, what's going on? So make sure a day of that you purchase or the next day, I want you to change your key, your door key, your lock, and also reprogram your garage pad. There is a little pad at the door next to your garage door for you to get in. The direction is right there. Thank you for ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT how to connect those things, and she can help you go step by step. So with that said, this is the process. And if you guys have questions, you guys are welcome to come. We have an hour or 45 minutes to be here and answer a question for you guys. But ask question. Interview your agents, interview your lenders. Another thing that I wanted to point, then I'll stop. I kind of, because I am on TikTok, I get a bunch of different calls. Would you guys tap the screen and push it to 35,000, please? So she called me with her husband and said, hey, Ida, I have a lender who I'm dealing with, and I am okay with the lenders, but I have another lender that who gave me a good rate, and I wanted to go with that lender. But I put an offer with the different lender. So what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. You talk to your agent and see how that's gonna work. So I want you to do your due diligence before you put an offer, because it's going to be hard for me to tell the seller agent saying that, hey, we change a loan officer or a company. This buyer wanted to go with somebody else. Then this lady ended up changing her lender. Okay. And this morning, she's the one who woke me up. I hope you're here, and raise your hand if you're here. Because Peter just explaining to us a few minutes ago about discount point. So this lady, the buyer, the new pre-approval letter that she received that she was working with, and she's closing this coming Friday, when she received her CD, guess what? She is charged close to $7,000 for a discount point. And now she's stuck. So she said, hey, can I push? I'm like, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not your lawyer. You need to figure it out with your agent. Once you sign a contract with your agent, please, 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 please. Woof.
Is Hannibal cooking again?
No, they probably be roasting some coffee. You see, I've been teaching you guys to have, she's stealing fire. I don't know what they're doing.
You should cook, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Give me a minute, okay? I'm gonna mute you guys.
Well, I think That's what I'm comfortable spending. That allows us
Sorry.
to filter the property that we're going to show you and say, hey, this is everything we've got available. We'll look through everything. If you don't like anything, then let's talk about, okay, can we do 2,700 a month? And then we can pop it up, by 30, 40 grand and maybe get a little bit more expensive of a house. So yeah, going back to the very first point that she brought up, budget is so important and budget matters so much. I just house this. Down by the area and by what your budget is matters a lot, because you can have your wants, I want a big backyard, I want, a third or a fourth bathroom, but you also have, what do you need? What are the basic needs of the property? So we try to work in lockstep with our realtors to make their process and their job very easy for them. So how are we doing, Ida? Are we, the smoke detector still going?
I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something. I don't know. I think they're roasting some coffee. And that's why, you see, I always tell my audience, I don't care that this thing is going to scream in the house. You have to have your smoke detector check every year, changing your battery. It's a safety. Right now, mind you, if I'm here and this thing is not done, I think Noah is cooking some stuff too. And, he just left and that's why everything is screamed. So he probably be putting stuff on the stove and cooking. And if you forget something, that our kids are always there on the phone, right? If something burned, we would not know. So this is your blanket of your house. This is one of the things. Mine is crazy. I'm like so sensitive. Feel a little smoke going. If I burn incense, it's so sensitive. It goes the smoke there, it will scream. So this is what I have, but I love it.
And I was just going to add kind of a random tidbit too to the conversation. The headline that came out yesterday is the average first-time home buyer is now 40 years old, which is the highest it's ever been by a lot. So if you are saving up, if you're getting pre-approved, and it seems like a lot, it's not you. I mean, yes, we can all do better. Nobody's perfect, but keep working through the process. Things will get better. Things will work out. You just like anything, it just takes a little bit more work now to get to that point. So don't feel down or don't think, I can't buy a house because the process isn't super easy. Or somebody bought a house 10 years ago and they're like, oh, it's super easy. The industry from the lending side has become much more strict and they check everything. The realty side, there's all sorts of issues that can come up, like Ida has been highlighting. Sometimes you find the house you want, but the seller is very delusional in what they want you to pay for it.
Yeah.
There can be many, many things that come up, but don't give up hope. There's a lot of good stuff going on. And I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's good. Another thing that I wanted to mention here, keep your communication with your agents. Be honest to your agent. Talk to a professional, not your friend, not your cousin, not this and that, because you don't know their situation and they don't know your situation. You might put in 20% down and you're getting a good deal when you purchase, but my credit is not good and my PMI mortgage insurance price is high. And the interest rate I'm getting, it is high. because of that. So when I get a certain kind of interest rate, I don't want you to think that why so and so got this and I'm getting this. All of us, we have a different hair texture, right? We all have a curly hair, a straight hair, springy hair, whatever. So we all have a different aspect of those process. So your process is different with mine. And that is something that I see. One thing that I want you to do, when you have some kind of information, talk directly to that person. Means that me as an agent to your agent or to your lender. So there is a situation that I had a couple of months ago that I closed the deal. The property was listed for $425, I think. And we put in $25,000 more than what the listing price were. So the reason being, we had 11 offer on that property. And the buyer know that part, and he wanted to do that. We decided to do that, and we end up winning the bid from 11 people. The way that I wrote the terms and this and that, we did like a 3 days inspection period. And the lender will write them a letter, such and such a day. We were flexible with closing day. That's the stuff that they want, and this and that. So we put that offer on Saturday. They told us on Sunday that they accept that offer. Okay. Then Monday morning, late morning, the buyer called and, hey, I got the inspector done already, and we're going to do inspection this evening, blah, blah, blah. We were talking, this and that. And then somebody said, hello. And I'm like, hello, who's this? And he said, I am so-and-so's coworker. I'm just wondering that why you guys end up putting an offer that much money. And I said, and who you are again? And he told me his name. And I said, did I sign any contracts with you? Do I know you? And he goes, no, but I'm trying to protect my colleague. Really? And I'm like, you can go ahead and protect him. And the guy was shocked because I said that to him. My buyer came and he goes like, oh, I thought you were going to tell him that the process. Who is he? I did not sign a contract with him. I don't know him. Why should I have to disclose my buyer's situation? And I told him that I don't have no business to explain to you. And I hang up the phone. And the buyer called and apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it was just that. No. Do not put me on the spot, and don't put your people on the spot just because you don't want to ask those questions. And then my buyer just sent me a text saying that I heard you talking about me. Yeah, but I'm not saying the names. That is something that we go through. Yeah, he said that is okay. Yes, this is an example. I'm not saying anybody's name, but there's a situation we have to talk about it. So by the end of the day, that house is worth $482,000. He got a steal. And he loved it. He went in now, he took all the carpet out and he did this and that. He's reventing the whole property, and he's going to rent his basement. And he said that he'd probably be paid $500 on his mortgage out of pocket every month. He's a single guy. He's going to rent it. So when you have that kind of stuff, I want you to be honest. I want you to have your communication with whomever that you're working with. And I want you to feel free to ask any question. Don't hold on your question. Yes, we work 7 days a week, but we have a family. Me, myself, and I have soccer almost every day. I'm a soccer mom. And, my second child, he's in college, and now he's not even in the sports. So I feel like I'm free now. you know? But yeah, and we do these things, and I have my husband in my time too. Sometimes I don't answer the phone. This time of the day, usually we walk or we run or we're doing something. So just be aware of yourself. Have a goal, what you wanted to accomplish. What is your budget? Because I purchased $500,000 property, a brand new construction. Peter does not have to go and do that, because Peter he has 2 kids, a wife, a farm. He lives in the boonies. If he screams for help, me and Nick, we cannot rescue him. So we all have life. We are human, but we wanted to be there for you. This is our part of our journey, part of our job, and we love to help you. So with that said, Noah just texted me. He said, "Mama, sorry, it's me." Okay, so he was probably be making his bacon, and he makes my house smelly and all that because I'm not there and I'm downstairs in my office. But yeah, these are the stuff. I'm like, we probably did not say much. It might be a certain things, but this is the process. It's easy, open-minded. Talk to me like, oh, I want to have a townhome with light. I have a buyer. Me and Peter, we have a buyer right now. That's what she wants because she works from home. She is an RN in her life. She does her business at home. So because of that, she needs a light in her house. And I'm the same thing. If I don't have light in my house, I swear to you guys, I'll get depressed. I want to have that brightness. I don't care if it is snow outside. I want it to see windows and, balcony and this and that. And Peter said earlier, the buyer who wants to cancel it because the property was by the street. When I show you property, I check those property if they are some light pole or a train behind them, or if they're on the street. I have a 3D app that I use to check those property. I usually screenshot and send it to the buyer. Hey, there is something going on in your back of your house. Do you want it to do that? As you guys know, a lot of Ethiopians, we're scared of water, even it's a pond. I don't know why. I love pond. They don't. I think because I lived here too long and I became Americanized, right? I don't know. But I like my water. It's beautiful. But a lot of us, we're scared of that. So what I do is I screenshot and send it to you. Hey, there is water behind your property or in front of you, in front of your property that you're going to be looking at. Are you interested? So those are the stuff that our due diligence to do, to hear you what you want, and then to help you what you want to accomplish. With that said, if you guys have any question, please come. We have 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then we can rock and roll. And thank you, Peter and Nick. You guys are like, add your spice in it too.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into the process, and we all know it's overwhelming. We do this all the time, and it can be overwhelming for us even sometimes, dealing with all the things that can come up.
Yep.
And sometimes we don't see something for like 2 years, and then it comes up, 3 times in a row with clients. And but that's why I've been doing this a long time. We've been doing this a long time. We stay up to date on what we're doing as well. That's another big thing in this industry, because things are always changing. And if you're not working with somebody that's staying up to date and staying informed, sometimes issues can come up there, but we're always doing that. We live it, we breathe it. We all do it full time. We're not off running another business 50% of the time, and we don't know what's really going on. So again, you pay roughly the same to any realtor. You pay roughly the same to loan officers. Don't just go with the cheapest option. Usually in this industry, whoever's advertising really cheap, hey, we're the cheapest, it's usually because they struggle to get business for for obvious reasons. So, yeah, so that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, and again, have an open line of communication, like Ida said. Just open line of communication, have those conversations. The earlier, the better. Tell us what you're thinking. We'll help you organize your thoughts. We'll help you come up with a plan. That's why you're paying us. That's why you're hiring us. Yep. And, like I have clients that we had one, this was like 5-6 years ago, but he owned 3 houses and he's buying his 4th. And he kind of thought he knew everything. And this is back with me, Ida, and then our partner, Ali, back in the day. And he was adamant that there were things that we were doing wrong in the loan process. And he was like, no, you got to do it this way. And he's like, I bought 3 houses. I know all of it. So, we nicely informed him and explained to him and sent him links because he wanted links to things to read about it. And then at the end of it, he's like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So, and that's fine. Like, bring it up to us. Let's try to be nice and cordial and get along. But if something's not making sense, you should be able to bring that up to us. We'll talk to you about it, help, give you the information. I'm a big fan of giving people the ability to look it up on your own so you don't just have to blindly trust me. I'll be like, no, here, you can look it up here. You can look it up here. Because at the end of the day, we only do things that we can support. And there's a lot of people in this industry that don't do that. Yep. And you got to take care of yourself and make sure that you're putting yourself in a good position. So.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. So if you have not followed us, go ahead and follow because we are here every Sunday, and I do teach in Amharic. And then every Wednesday we are here from like 9:15, 9 o'clock on until, for 2 hours, 2.5, because it's a working day and we all have transactions that we're going to be running around and this and that. And also everybody's working, right? That's why you guys don't tap the screen anymore. You guys just forgot about me. So here is my YouTube account. It says Gojo Realty, or if you go look for me, Ida Tazara, you'll find me. In case if you got here late, it is already recorded on my YouTube account. So